Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the month of November. And my goodness, I cannot believe we are almost at the end of the year of 2023. And boy, has it been an interesting year. I'll put it that way. Very interesting. And you know, every year has its qualities according to the astrological signatures in the sky and the heavens. And that is what I'm here to inform you about, what the cycles are all about. How is it affecting our world and how is it affecting us individually? And you gotta know that the world has become so crazy. People are full of fear, people are nervous, people are always on edge, and I get that so many people are like afraid. And what is that all about? I keep telling you, it is the media, and I'm here to tell you they want you afraid. They want you scared. I am not here to scare you. And if you listen to my entire dissertations, you go all the way to the end, you realize I'm here to give you peace of mind. Yes, I can tell you what the astrology is telling us in terms of the chaos and the problems. We are always going to have chaos and problems. That is the nature of this planet, because one constant that we know of is that the constant is change. Now, if you don't like change, yes, you're going to be in a place of fear constantly because things are constantly changing. But what I am here to tell you is change is good. Change is what happens because it's progressing us, it's evolving us, it's making us smarter, it's making us more developed, it's helping us grow. That is truly what it's all about, right? And yes, I've been telling you that major events are about to happen and everybody goes, where are they? Well, you know what? There are major events happening, but it's not happening everywhere all the time in the world. It's happening in certain isolated places. Yes, it is. There are always going to be earthquakes. There's always going to be airplane crashes here and there. There's always going to be floods. There's always going to be storms. It's just that sometimes it gets a little bit more intense, but throughout the years, every year is plagued with these catastrophic events. I'm going to prove a lot of this to you today. So with that, I want to remind everyone to check out my free newsletter, which will give you all the timing and the events that everything is due to happen. And can I tell you where? For the most part, that's really hard. Why? Well, because sincerely, astrology is person-oriented astrology. In other words, if it's happening to you, it's going to be in your chart. That's why I sometimes use the country's charts and the president's charts. But getting back to, sign up for my free newsletter and you will get all of this delivered free to your email. Go to galacticcenter.org and you will get my predictions every week. Now, another exciting thing I want to inform you about is I'm starting a Patreon page. And with that, you are going to get exclusive material at cut rate prices. So if you want to save money and you want to be in the know and get exclusive special information from me with all kinds of opportunities and classes, go to Patreon page and you'll find that. On my website, galacticcenter.org, you're going to have discounts with my beautiful jewelry, with books, with classes, you name it, my magazine even. It's all going to be there. You won't want to miss it. Go to Galactic Center to find all this out. And remember, if any of this has inspired you to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university website, universityofvedicastrology.com, and there you're going to find it is all self-paced. Become my student anytime you can begin. So let's get going, talking about what this month has to offer. And like I said, there are continually major events happening. September, incredible things were happening. People crossing borders, war, extremes with political governments ruling, scaring, corruption. It's all happening. It's September, it's reaching a crescendo. October, the eclipses surfaced it all. Now we have November, because now is where it is really getting serious. Why? Because the impending aspects that were on and off throughout this year, it's the last and final one in November. Let me inform you about all that I have to talk about, because you've heard me talk about a lot of things. And yes, this month, it's all happening together, not just one that could have culminated in the big event, but this is where it all kind of gets closer and boom, it's all happening. This is a guarantee. Watch this, because you know I've been talking about the astrological signatures that have been going on. Well, November has the most. Yes, September had some major ones. October, the eclipses, they're major. But this is the time that it is all displayed clearly. There is no more hiding anything. Because why? This unusual planetary aspects, let me give them all to you. They're totally, if you know anything about astrology, it'll blow your mind. Now, those of you who don't know astrology, hey, I want to take astrology to the next level. If you would try to learn just the bare minimum of astrology, I can absolutely promise you it would change your life. It would change your life. I am here to take astrology to the next level. We are just on the cutting edge of what it can do and what it's truly about. So here we go. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact of where Venus and Mercury are. Because Venus is way behind the sun and Mercury is way ahead of the sun. And we're having our new moon and full moon between the Mercury-Venus and at the fulcrum, or the what we call the reaction point, is going to be Jupiter and Uranus. Now, Jupiter-Uranus, they are two together that create unexpected events. And Uranus is exactly opposed the new moon that's coming up here this month. And here's another thing. This all forms a yod. You've heard me talk about this yod. Yods are destiny. They are things that cannot be avoided. And this impending destiny, we all feel it. We all feel weird. Something's about to give. That's why you're paying attention to me. You know something's about to give. You wouldn't have that feeling. This is a sixth sense we all have, that something is coming. Now, let me remind you of something else that I've been talking about for a very, very long time. And that is this, that we all are one, we all feel it, and it's about to happen. Okay, we all know this. So the astrology is sort of like giving us the exact timing. But can I say this? All of this corruption with these world leaders that are greedy, that are power hungry. They've been doing this all along since the beginning of time, right? Nothing's changed. It's just now we can see it and we know it. That's the big difference, and that's what makes it a little bit scarier, because ignorance is bliss. We didn't know what was going on. And yes, something big happened in 1963 in the US where it all started to be uncovered, but they hid it so well. And now, only till now do we really know what was going on with President Kennedy's assassination. Watch my video on Kennedy's assassination. It is here on my YouTube channel. Just go and search. You can search my channel, Who Killed Kennedy? I give you the whole lineup of what happened. And it is astrologically viable that you can see this. Now, continuing on to this amazing yod, we have Venus, Mercury, and then we have Jupiter. Forms a perfect yod, and at the fulcrum point, which is actually right in between where Uranus is exactly aspecting the sun and the moon at the new moon, as well as at the full moon. Now, the new moon happens on November 13th, and the full moon happens on November 27th. These are crucial points of development where you're going to see sudden, unexpected events that are going to surprise even you. This I can promise you. So this yod represents a certain fate and destiny. But here is another aspect that's been going on this whole month, and actually has been happening since September. That's why I started pulling in September, October, November, and December. Those 4 months, Mars and the Sun are traveling on and off in the same sign. Now they're going to exactly conjunct by November 17th, around 1 degree of Scorpio. Now, Mars traveling in alignment with the Sun is not rare. It's like when an array of things all culminate at the same time that we actually have these events that I'm about to explain. But Mars traveling with the Sun happens every 2 years. And they travel along together till they finally come exactly together for approximately 4 months, but it's November 17th. Mars is anger. Mars rules weapons. Mars rules fire. And it deals with violence. People are becoming angrier and angrier. It's all building. Because I'll tell you what, the main thing that people don't like, nobody likes to be lied to. And we've been lied to. It's all out there. It's not hidden anymore. They lied about so many things. I don't even need to mention them. You all know what they are. So in the past 2 years, all these events, we've been lied to. So let me get on with what is happening, because this new moon, exactly, Uranus is opposing it. Exactly. Uranus is unexpected sudden events that are surprising, but it is the planet of change. And let me say this, it is the planet that's called the Great Awakener. Wow. How exciting is that, really? Finally, we're being awakened to. There's nothing to be scared of. Now the cat's out of the bag. We see it all. Doesn't that give you a little bit of peace of mind? Does me. I'll tell you that much. I don't like being lied to. Okay? So Mars with the Sun. And here is the real clincher that I'm getting to. Saturn on November 4th is stationary direct. So a planet that slows down, comes to a stop, and changes direction means it stands still for a very long time. And in that process makes that planet 100 times more powerful. It is stationary. Saturn is stationary direct. It's turning direct November 4th, but the entire month of November. It sits at 6 and 7 degrees of Aquarius. Why is that so astounding? Because Saturn is stationed on the natal moon of the United States chart. Now, I'm going to do a video explicitly on this because I want you to see that, but I'm just going to tell it to you now. But I want you to see what I'm talking about. This is remarkable. There's only 1 degree in the entire zodiac that it's stationing at, stationary direct, and it's almost 7 degrees. I'm going to say it's more 7 degrees than it is 6, because it is. That is the natal moon of the United States chart. And Saturn on the moon is called Sati Sati. And those of you that know Vedic astrology, I always say, don't look it up, it'll scare you to death. It means 7.5 years of bad luck. But when it hits the moon, it's when it's in the sign before, the sign of, and the sign after the natal moon in a chart. I personally think it's in the sign of the moon that it is the most intense. I don't pay attention to the sign before or sign after because they're nothing like it when it's in the sign of the moon. And for that exact degree to be stationed on, this speaks volumes of intensity. Now, to top this off, Saturn's been back and forth on the moon. This is the last and final time. I have been talking every time it comes to the moon. I'm like, look out, something awful's going to happen. Well, nothing that awful really happened, except for the things that were happening beneath the scenes. Yes, there's been lots, and that's what's going to make this time the most potent for what we're about to discover. Okay, let me get on. Yes, I hope you're still with me, because I got lots more to tell you. Mars is going to be squaring that degree. Mars is going to hit 6-7 degrees of Scorpio, and it is squaring Saturn, and Saturn is mutually aspecting Mars by its 10th aspect, Mars' 4th aspect, and Saturn's 10th aspect. These are the most powerful aspects for Mars and Saturn. In Vedic astrology, they are called the special aspects. And therefore, Mars and Saturn are mutually aspecting each other, right? At this degree that Saturn is stationed on the USA moon. Now, Mars at this time, when it is 6-7 degrees of Scorpio, squaring Saturn at 6-7 degrees of Aquarius. These are all fixed signs, by the way. This is intense. These are the signs that are the most potent. They are the center of the signs. Fixed. So, as they create this mutual aspect, Mars is almost exactly conjunct the Sun as well. The Sun is leadership and power in the world. It's about to blow up. Now, let me say this, that the Sun being involved with Mars creates all the anger, but this stationing is reaching the last station. It's the pinnacle of this aspect. Astrology, you will see working exactly at this time. Now, remember I said we kind of need people's charts to figure out where things are happening, and countries' charts. So we're looking at the United States. But let me bring up President Biden. He is the president. So what affects his chart affects the country as well as him. So what's going on in his chart? I'm going to do a video on that, but let me just explain it for now. President Biden has his natal K2 at 7 degrees Aquarius. K2 is loss. So for Saturn to be on his K2, major loss for him and consequently probably the country he rules because he is the president. As well as President Biden's moon sits at 7 degrees Aries. And Saturn has 2 special aspects that are 100% in power. It is the 10th aspect and it is the 3rd aspect. Those of you that know Vedic astrology know this is a fact. So Saturn, while it sits there and transiting Mars, is aspecting it fully. Saturn is on President Biden's K2, but fully aspecting President Biden's moon at 7 degrees of Aries. So you see Saturn's 3rd full aspect, which is Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, 3rd full aspect, exactly to his moon. The moon is the most personal point in a chart. This hurts. This is difficult. This is bad for the country and this is bad for him, period. That's what I can see with this stationing Saturn right there, aspecting the USA moon and Biden's K2 and his natal moon. So there is going to be a major event. And like I keep saying, the way things are building, what do we need? We need a breakthrough. We need a transformational change. We need a breakthrough and a rebirth. And that is what I see happening from all of these events. But this is going to be the hardest month, the most treacherous for everyone in terms, well, not everyone, depends on where you are on planet Earth. It depends on your own birth chart. But for the USA and Biden, we have some issues. So another thing is, one more thing I might add, transiting Mars being around 7 degrees of Scorpio is in a quincunx for Biden's moon at 7 degrees of Aries, an 8-6 relationship. That adds even more difficulty. Let me just leave it at that. Great difficulty. So there are all these looming events that are happening. One more. Rahu sits at 0 degrees of Aries, Gandanta. What does Gandanta mean? It's the very last degrees of fire, but the very first degrees of water. And it means out of control. It means a sense of drowning. And therefore, it does bring more storms, more out of control behavior, more floods, more drowning, because it feels like drowning when you're out of control. So Gandanta, here's what's going to happen November 28th. Rahu is going to move into Pisces and K2 is going to move into Virgo. This is not an everyday event. They change signs every year and a half, 18 months, but it takes 18 and a half years to go through the entire zodiac, all 12 signs. So as they change signs, they're going to change the feeling, the sense, everything for everyone, how you feel. It's going to change into different houses for everyone in their chart and create major change. I always say, wherever Rahu and K2 are in a chart are going to be the places of the most change in your life. Rahu being the north node of the moon, K2 being the south node of the moon. These nodal points, as they shift in the heavens, create the big changes. So they're shifting the end of this month. Rahu's going to go into 29 degrees of Pisces, and K2's going to go 29 degrees of Virgo. Remember the nodes, they travel backwards in the zodiac. So their entrance into a sign enters at the last degree. Therefore, it's still Gandanta the whole month, the whole rest of this year, because Rahu is going to be in 29, 28 degrees of Pisces. Still Gandanta, even more severe. But let me take you back to the last time that Rahu and Ketu were in Pisces and Virgo. Now, listen up here, because it was 2005 and 2006. Here are the events I found. So just to give you an idea, the last time these nodes were in Pisces, Virgo, February of 2005 through November of 2006. So basically it was most of 2005 and almost all of 2006. So in 2005, Hurricane Katrina killed 1,836 people throughout the southern states. There was a funeral for Pope John II. But here is the real clincher. Aside from, let me just put it this way, 2005, we had the usual earthquakes, airline crashes, storms, floods, right? Because we had Hurricane Katrina. And then it goes into, well, let's go into 2006. We had train bombings in Mumbai killing 209. We had the Eros flight 1907, crashes in the Amazon, earthquake in Yogyakarta, which killed 5,700 people. Okay. And they demoted Pluto from a planet to a dwarf planet. But what is my gist here? Can I just say the usual happened? Plane crashes, earthquakes, storms, floods, hurricanes. But here's what I want to say. I am really kind of sick and tired of all this, aren't you? With all these earthquakes, every year there's something. There's always going to be something like this throughout the year. So it's not that unusual. But here's what did happen. In 2005, YouTube came out. They came out with their very first video, Meet Me at the Zoo. YouTube started. You know what else started in 2006? Twitter. So my point is, what I want to get to is the takeaway with this is that social media exploded at this time. And this is what is positive. Some of you may think, yeah, well, social media is a downfall. No, it's not. It has connected more people than ever. We couldn't do our business, our work out of our homes if it weren't for social media. We wouldn't have the world we do today. You wouldn't know about me from YouTube. This is all how we connect, and being better connected and staying in communication opens things. And this is why we know what's happening in our governments. So this is going to be the onset of ultimate healing of all the corruption. People don't get away with stuff anymore. They don't hide it. We can see it. We know it. It's all good. We're staying in connection. We're learning more. We're growing. We're growing by leaps and bounds. But let me give you something that is fabulous. Don't be afraid of AI. Artificial intelligence, this just makes us more intelligent and helps us grow faster, evolve faster. And I want you to be open to AI and all the future discoveries that are going to happen so fast. It's going to make your head swim. You think we have grown exponentially over the past few years? In 18 and a half years, you haven't seen nothing yet. That's what the astrology is telling us with Uranus, the planet of invention and openings. The Great Awakener is coming together with Jupiter. Jupiter expands things all the more. And this means technology and healings. This is going to make the medical field more powerful, and we're going to heal things together, heal the mind, heal the body, heal our society and our world. That's why I wanted you to listen to the end of this video, because I have so many good things to express to you of what's coming out of the darkness into the light. A new awareness, a new awakening. The destruction, yes, the destruction has to happen. Why? Because the darkness, the old, the outworn ways are trying to hold on. with dear life. But they're not going to do it because the light is too bright and the discoveries are going to help us. You think AI is going to take over the world? Robots with no heart, with no emotion, no soul? That's impossible. But they're going to help us with all the things that we don't have the time to do. And that is to put together and add up everything so that we can grow exponentially faster, become more aware, to create more advanced technology so that we can be better connected and come together with the divine purpose of healing, and most of all, healing our hearts and our souls, bringing us together. Always through communication is how we are better. You know how when you get mad at somebody and then you don't talk to them, and you don't talk to them for years, and finally when you come back together and you talk and you realize what you were mad about, and it really wasn't even what you thought it was, there's a healing. But if you would have come together in the beginning, there wouldn't have been the separation. That's what communication does. Brings us together. We have to talk about it. We have to connect. Instead of, oh, you don't believe like me, and then you put up a wall. No, we're going to come together. That's what this is all about. But you know what? The forces of darkness, and there are the light and dark. There's the yin and the yang. There's a positive, negative charge. It's always going to be here. But the light and the goodness always wins out. Because remember what they say, and this is a fact, light extinguishes darkness. When you bring the light, the darkness disappears. So the radical shifts and changes that are coming, embrace them. They are opportunities for you to make a business, to be productive, prosperous, to bring the riches into your life. And when I mean riches, I mean everything: love, happiness, joy, and wealth. These opportunities are going to help you if you open to them. Learn them and know that it's only for the good that they're out there, and only for the good that they are in your life. Remember, everything happens for a reason, and that reason is always about healing. Everything is evolving, everything is growing, and as we grow, we realize the ignorance that we had before, and ignorance is fear, and fear is ignorance. So don't be ignorant. Open to everything you can learn, and know that it's for the highest good in your life. And you can make it that, because always, always, what's within you is reflected outwardly. If you come into this world with loving it, with excitement, with joy, that's what you're going to receive. Love and joy back. That's the world you see. That's the world that will be reflected back to you. This is the law of the universe. Don't get caught up in the fear and all of the divisiveness that's going on. You don't have to be that. Others will go through it, but it's a choice. And you have that choice to make. And remember this, we are all meant to come together. I believe social media and all the things that are out there brought us together. Use it for its highest good, and your life will take off. This is a promise. And light seekers all around will want to come together because they're like-minded. And that reminds me, this is just something that came to me. This wasn't planned. But hey, my Patreon page, I do want people to come together with like-mindedness and take their spirituality and their joy in life to the next level, because that's my intention, to take all of this, to bring people together for the highest good, to separate yourself from the negative and the hate and the anger. You have a choice, and that's where it is now. Choose the light, choose the love, choose the goodness in this world because it's everywhere if you see it. Don't block it out. It's there. Join my Patreon and we can do this together. I want to know more about you. This will give you the opportunity to connect personally with me, and we will all grow together, making this planet Earth a beautiful place, a place of love and happiness and joy. So with that, I think I'll close. Remember, go to galacticcenter.org if you want to learn more about my Patreon page, sign up for my free newsletter, and come with me to take astrology to the next level. Join my university, which is universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.